Good evening. My name is Randy Adkins, and I'm the host of Sports Sound Off. Welcome. I'd like to invite all those that are sports fans to join this conversation tonight. I want to thank you for all of you that have been joining our conversation in between shows on Facebook. And want to welcome also tonight's guest, Drew Weatherford. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad
All
to
right.
be here.
For those that may not remember, Drew was a former FSU quarterback. He's now quarterbacking the Tampa Bay Storm. We're going to be talking about Drew's career, his time here growing up in this area, and not to mention that, we'll be talking about how we've all been watching FSU football and Tampa Bay Storm football. Drew, you know, you grew up in this area. People may not know that you're very much an incredible local product. We were talking a little bit beforehand about places that you played and things that you've done. I mean, when you talk about, say, I was born in Dallas but grew up in Odessa. When did you start playing football?
Well, actually, was born in Dallas and then moved to Country Place. Grew up in Country Place. My father played at SMU in Dallas, and so did my grandfather. And as a kid growing up, you know, I wanted to play at a young age, but my father wouldn't let me.
Wow.
He started at a really young age and got burned out, so he didn't want that to happen to me.
Right.
So actually, the oldest two, there's 9 kids in my family, 7 boys, 2 girls. The oldest 2 boys didn't play football until high school because my dad wouldn't allow it to happen. Fortunately enough for me, I was smart enough to let them go out of town. Then I cried to my mother. My mother took me up to Citrus Park, signed me up for the Citrus Park Bills, and when my dad came back, you know, the rest was history. I started playing when I was about 11 years old.
That's cool.
And played ever since.
All right, so played in Citrus Park. We were talking about playing baseball, and you played at Northdale. I mean, that's, you know, for those that are in North Tampa, you know, easy landmarks to find.
Exactly right, yeah. I played football and baseball at Citrus Park, played soccer at Northdale Soccer Club, and just had a great time. I mean, this area is such a great place to grow up with a big family, and wouldn't have had it any other way.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you know, you talk about enjoying all the sports. You ended up playing football. What was your second favorite?
Basketball was my second favorite, absolutely. Played baseball when I was young. I stopped playing at a young age. It's too slow for me, to be honest.
Okay.
I wasn't a good enough athlete to play soccer. I'll tell you what, soccer players are some athletes, man.
Yeah,
they really are, and all that running, I didn't want anything to do with that. So
wind sprints were enough. You don't want to have to run a marathon every day.
Exactly right. Coincidentally enough, I'm actually training for a marathon right now.
Really?
Believe it or not, I'm crazy enough to be doing that. But yeah, basketball. I played basketball my entire life and played it in high school all 4 years, and had a great time playing basketball. And I think it's important for athletes. A lot of athletes now are starting to play one sport, maybe 2 sports, but I think it's important for kids to grow up playing multiple sports. It just helps you develop a lot of different types of abilities that you can implement into other sports if you utilize them correctly.
Right. Now, you played for Coach Bowden at FSU, which, I mean, what's it like to have a man who's a legend walk into your house to recruit you?
Oh man, it was a special moment. You know, not only because he's a legend, but I was a fan ever since I was young. When I moved to Florida, you kind of got to pick sides when you get here. And,
that's true.
Coach Bowden, you know, came and he spoke at our church when I was young. And it was from that point on that I was just a diehard Seminole. So not only was he a legend, but on top of that, it was my favorite school in the world. It was my dream ever since I was a little kid.
That's great.
And once they offered me, it was a done deal. You know, I still had, you know, the Tennessees and Georgias and, you know, LSU and a couple other schools out there, but I knew I was going to Florida State, and it was a done deal, especially when Coach Bowden walked into your living room and sits down and eats dinner with you and your family, and the next door neighbors are coming over, you know, to get his autograph.
Right, exactly.
That kind of
That's cool.
Amazing.
Now that's amazing. That's amazing stuff.
Unforgettable.
For those that might have questions for Drew or have a comment with regarding sports, we can be reached in the studio here at 813-254-7820, or you can send me an email at sportssoundoff@aol.com. I've got a laptop right here. We can take a look at those. Now, you went from one coaching legend. We talk about being a coaching legend, you know, in the FSU and all that kind of thing. You had a little issue with your knee.
I did. I've had several. I've had 3 knee surgeries up to this point, but
how's the knee now?
Knee's fine. I've had 3 cartilage. Fortunately enough, I haven't done anything to my ligaments.
Right.
But there's only so much cartilage, so you got to be careful after a while. So I've had 3 knees and an ankle. I've had a tendon in my ankle. So I've had my fair share of injury problems, but that comes when you play, not a contact sport, but a collision sport.
Yeah, that's true.
Football is a collision sport, and the hits continue to get bigger and bigger and harder and harder as guys get faster. I mean, I was talking to my dad the other day, the biggest guy on his team was, 260 pounds, 270 pounds.
And that guy can't play line anywhere now.
Exactly. And that guy was running a 4.8. Now you have guys that are weighing 290, 300 pounds running
4.5,
4.6s, and
which means they're running you down.
It means they're running you down, and they're making you they're punishing you when they get there.
Yeah, that's exactly. Now you've been watching all the big hits in the NFL this year. Deshaun Jackson, who took probably what I think is the biggest hit all year, just got cleared. Do you think about that on the field?
Absolutely not. I never have.
I'm going to say you can't really.
You can't, especially at the quarterback position. You can't. I mean, you can't be an effective quarterback if you're worried about getting hit.
Right.
There's too many other things to be thinking about. I can't even begin to explain to you how many things that you have to think about. When you're playing the quarterback position, and a lot of them you're not thinking about while you're doing it. It's just become second nature. You're just doing it, and if you're worried about getting hit, you're dead in the water. You won't be playing very long. You'll get pulled. And that happens to quarterbacks from time to time. They get shaken up a little bit. They might have an injury or they might take a big hit, and from that point on, they are always looking at the line of scrimmage and always worrying about blitzes, and you just cannot be effective doing that.
Well, that makes sense. Now, you go back to your FSU career. You have leg injury and you lose the starting job. Were you thinking, I'm going to get this job back?
I never thought I was going to lose it.
Okay, that's fair. How can
I
you
really
think that?
didn't. I got hurt during the spring.
Right.
And by the time the season came back around, I was healthy. I was ready to go.
Right. And the coach comes out and says it's going to be Ponder.
Yeah, the coach simply enough came out and said that it was going to be Ponder. That was an unfortunate, difficult situation to deal with, especially because I'd been starting not only since I was a freshman at Florida State, but I started as a freshman in high school too. So I'd never sat on the bench before. I didn't know what that was like. And what made it even more difficult is, in my opinion, I was the better guy at the time. I had a ton of experience. It was going to be my senior year.
Right. It's tough to sit on the pine in your senior year when you're preparing all your life for that.
Yeah, extremely difficult. But that's just the circumstances that I was dealt, and I tried to handle them in the best way that I possibly could. I tried to be an encouragement to Christian, I learned an awful lot about myself during that time.
I'll bet.
It was a really trying time, but I feel blessed to have had and gone through that, without a doubt.
Oh, cool. Well, now you leave FSU and you're playing arena ball, and you talk about having a legend as a coach at FSU. You've got a legend here, Tim Markham. I mean,
absolutely.
My God,
how
many arena bowls? I mean, it's amazing.
I've been fortunate, that's for sure. It's been an honor to be around, both coaches. Coach Bowden has a way about him, and Coach Markham has a way about himself. They're definitely different individuals, but they're both extremely effective. They both know what it takes to win, and they're very passionate individuals. I mean, very, very passionate individuals. So, not too many guys have, played for coaches that successful.
Exactly. We got a call coming in the studio. Well, we had a call coming in the studio. For those that are calling, the number in the studio is 813-254-7820. Feel free to call us. Like I said, we were talking about you and Coach Markham. Hey, the team didn't do too bad this year.
We had it was a great experience, to come in, to walk into arena football, a game really I've never played before. I mean, because it's completely different, especially in my position. And to have the type of success that we did, we made it all the way to the championship game and the Arena Bowl, and unfortunately we lost. But we had a great team. I had a great time. I really learned to love the game, and it was fun.
Okay, we got a call coming in. Thanks for calling Sports Sound Off. You're on the air.
Hey, Randy, this is Bill. I'm calling you from down in Zudars.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Hey, Bill, what's up?
I was just, the Chiefs beat the Bills this weekend and are still leading the AFC West. Are you ready to admit they're one of the better teams in the league this year?